move to adopt the resolution placing the city initiative charter amendment on the general municipal election for November of 2008.
Second.
Moved by Member Rendon, seconded by Member McCann.
I'd like to put a substitute motion on the floor.
There is a motion and a second, Mr. Castaneda.
I'd like to put a substitute motion on the floor to hold a special election, to hold the election for the city attorney initiative in June of 2008 as advertised in the council docket item.
Madam Mayor, I would call for the vote on the first motion.
For support for calling for the vote, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
And there will be a call for a motion on the first motion. Substitute does not have a second. I have a comment, I believe, from Mr. Haggerty.
Thank you, Mayor. The motion, the resolution that's before you tonight is set up for the June election, and so the motion that's made is perfectly appropriate. I would just point out a few additional amendments that would be needed to be made to the resolution to move the motion forward in the way that it was made. All that would need to be required is the resolution would need to be amended to call the election in November, to set the measure for the November ballot, and to consolidate that election with the statewide election that's scheduled for that time. And in the motion or the resolution regarding appropriation of funds, as written, the resolution is written for the June election. So therefore, that would need to be amended so that the money can be spent on the November election. But those are just technical amendments that would be made as part of the motion in this passage.
Let me just clarify the motion that's been made and seconded. Because the item B requires a 4/5 vote, although I really don't see how the council cannot appropriate money to be able to host this. Was your motion and second related specifically to item 8A, Mr. Rennan, or was it for both 8A and 8B?
The proposed motion that I offered was for 8A only, and the adjustments to the resolution as pointed out by the Office of the City Attorney was the intent of the maker of the motion, and we should have a subsequent motion once that has been clarified for 8B.
Question has been done, so we really have to move to our vote. Let me call you up.
I was just wondering whether you mentioned when this lady here asked a question about whether the council elections could be moved to November, and you indicated that you were going to be addressing that subsequently. I wanted to make a remark about that as well.
We'll address it subsequently.
Thank you, Principal.
Thank you. Please vote on item 8A. This item indicates that resolution of the City Council of the City of Chula Vista will give notice for the general municipal election to be held on that Tuesday in November. We now need to deal with item B as corrected by Mr. Haggerty. With this item being moved to the November ballot, the extra appropriation would be corrected as well to November. Mr. Castaneda?
Oh, nothing.
Mr. Rennan?
I will offer Resolution 8B with the understanding that the appropriation is adjusted to reflect the true cost of the November election and the $20,000 for the cost to be appropriated for the verification of the signatures. I would ask the Office of the City Attorney if that does cover the monetary issues sufficiently.
Is there a second to that motion? Second it. It's been moved and seconded. We will have a response, I believe, from the city clerk or from Mr. Haggerty. If you need the question rephrased, go ahead.
My question was to the Office of the City Attorney if that motion reflected the monetary adjustments for the resolution.
I think the key to the my correction was just to allow it to be spent for the November, and there were some monetary adjustments that the clerk was.
Right, and the $20,000 for the cost for the verification would be done immediately. Thank you.
Right, and then, so just so I understand, so the resolution appropriating funds will be for the amount of $20,000 for verifying the signatures, plus an additional $34,000 at this point to set aside for
That's an
the
additional
November.
amount of money to be determined for the actual true cost of the November election.
Which is estimated at this point at $34,000.
But if it comes in at 36 or 39 or 32, it is, the intent of the motion is to cover the sufficient actual charge from the registrar of voters for the November.
Okay.
Is that clear?
Very
We've
clear.
got the
But you don't
authorization
have
to
If
host
it's
the
36
election.
instead of 34, you don't have to come back.
Yeah,
and
we can work with that.
There's a motion and a second on the
Madam
floor.
Mayor,
Item 8B. Would you need to read the resolution,
On 8B,
please?
well, it's going to be amended, but resolution appropriating funds for the verification of signatures for certification of a petition for a charter amendment and for its placement on the ballot for the consolidated special municipal election on November, I have to get the date, November 4th, 2008.
Not special for the consolidated general municipal election in November of 2009.
And actually, in Chula Vista's charter, the November election is called a special election.
Special municipal
A
election.
fluky kind of thing in the city's charter. Please vote on item.
I had just something
Oh,
to say.
excuse me, Mr. Castaneda.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I am going to support this motion because, you know, we obviously have to have the election. We have to pay for the signature verification, and while I disagree with holding the election in November, the election needs to take place, and I think holding it up now would only, I think, do sort of the work of people that don't want to see this get to the ballot, so I'm going to go ahead and support the motion.
Please vote then on item 8B as an appropriation of funds. The council has unanimously appropriated those funds. Before we move to other business,